This time we're going to build a real arcade game machine, plywood, joysticks from AliExpress, an interesting paint job, and in the end, a cool toy like this. Enjoy watching! We decided to make the cabinet out of plywood. It's a great choice. Strong, reliable, and durable material. Highly recommend. We created a model in advance. We based it on the dimensions of original arcade machines. So the file is ready. Now we can cut the plywood. Also, in addition to cutting, we make these small recesses where the plywood will fit precisely during assembly. This immediately solves the issue of positioning all the parts, and overall the structure will be much sturdier. As a result, once all the pieces come together and are connected, we'll have a real arcade game machine. All the parts will be joined with angled screws. For this purpose, as is tradition, we'll use the crack jig. I think everyone is already familiar with it. It really is a very handy tool, and for joining plywood, it's actually the ideal and perfect option. Once all the pieces are cut and drilled, we move on to the decoration. Just a painted plywood box is boring. That's why we're doing a themed engraving, using elements from games of the bygone 8-bit era. Pac-Man, Mario, Mortal Kombat. Those very games that, in my childhood, people would have sold their souls for. That's why they're still relevant for our generation. Nostalgia, you could say. The next step is assembly. It's all simple here. That is, of course, if everything was initially cut and drilled correctly. Glue, a couple of clamps, crack screws, and an hour of work. As a result, after an hour, we have this upper main part of the arcade machine, which still needs to be painted. The first layer is primer. This is a thick, pore-filling primer. I use it specifically to completely and thoroughly remove the wood texture and leave only the engraving. The next layer is the main red color. I don't know why, but I wanted to make it red, with a black patina. I'm really curious to hear your opinion. What color should an arcade machine like this be? I'm waiting for your suggestions in the comments. Once the red layer had completely dried, I then coated it with a clear, protective varnish so that I could work with the next patina layer without worrying about rubbing through the red paint all the way down to the primer underneath. After I applied the patina, it can be removed using a fine abrasive sponge. And this is how it looks. The patina ultimately stays in all the recesses, which is exactly what I wanted to achieve. During the process, I really liked the effect of the patina that wasn't completely removed, so I decided to leave the lower part of the machine just like that, but blend it with a slight transition, something like a gradient. This particular piece will stay in my workshop. That's why we made our own logo. So let's move on to the most interesting part, the assembly of all the components. All these buttons and control levers were ordered from AliExpress. The monitor is bought new. In our case, it's specifically a 21.5-inch diagonal. The main thing here is that it has an HDMI output. since everything runs on a Raspberry Pi microcomputer. Personally, I'm not very knowledgeable about all these nanotechnologies, which is exactly why all the internals were handled by Lesha, a good friend of mine. In general, he specializes in developing various devices and stands based on microcontrollers and analog systems. Once everything is assembled and connected, we have a two-part arcade machine. This is done so that you can easily use just the upper main part as a convenient tabletop version, especially in case you don't have enough space to set it up at its full height. You can also use it with the lower part, which essentially serves as a pedestal stand. Be sure to share your thoughts. Thank you for watching and wishing you all the best.